I'm Johnny with Taylor Acres Homestead, Johnny Taylor, and I'm going to kind of show you kind of what we've done on the Layens Horizontal Hive. We finally got it all put together. I got a stand made for it, got the stand painted, got the hive all put together, got all the entrances put on, and it's really looking good. So I want to show you guys the progress we've made on that since I did kind of show you as we were putting it together, or painting it anyway. And so just want you to see the difference between it and our standard, what we're accustomed to, hives. Here is our Layens Horizontal Hive. Inside it we'll have 20 Layens frames, and as you can see, there's my little frame that we made for it. Oh, well, we got the sun and shadows and stuff, but anyway, I had this made out of iron. Let me show you how it looks inside, kind of. I'll show you that. Let me get these gloves off so I can actually do something. I think I'm going to hinge this top. I didn't hinge it yet, but I think I'm going to hinge it just to make it easier, so I don't have to, especially here in West Texas where the wind blows all the time, I don't want to have to set it up here and watch it get blown over. Now what we've got, like just about did just now, because the wind is blowing today. As I said, these are Layens, and you'll notice these frames, and I'm hoping you can see them. I'm hoping the sun is okay. Let me get behind them so you'll have a little sun on them. These are the Layens frames. As you can see, they're considerably longer than the Langstroth frames. I don't have any foundation in these, but I'm going to put some wax foundation in just so they'll start straight, because you know how bees have a tendency to go off other directions if you don't have something from the start. So I'm going to get some, I've actually got some already, some beeswax foundation that I'm going to put on here. And basically what I'll do is just melt them into the frames. Now these frames, there's 20 of these in here. In addition to the frames, whenever we do that, we've also got a divider board here, which is got, as you can see here, some pins on the bottom to keep it off the bottom. That gives the bees the freedom to go into empty space if they need to. If they don't need to, they usually won't. Primarily, we'll open, basically what we're going to do is we'll open this first entry, and you do that just by turning it. It can either be a vent or it can be an opening. So we'll open this first entry and we'll keep this here, the separator board, so that they will build everything they're going to build right here on this side. That way they don't have a whole lot of extra space that they're not using, and it keeps it warmer for them, and just keeps it better for them inside. So we'll butt all these frames up against this side. We'll put the separator board in here so that the bees can't go around it. They can go under it. Now if I wanted to keep them in here, perhaps like maybe in the winter time when they won't be doing much moving, I can take these little pins out and it'll go right up against the bottom, and that way they won't be moving, because generally the bees won't move a whole lot during the winter time. I don't have to have the frames in here. I could take them out, but I'm choosing at this point in time to leave them in here for now. I may end up taking them out and it'll just give them that big old open space. I'm not really sure I want to do that, because the way these frames are made, they keep the hive body sealed from coming off the top. So if I've got the board in here, then they really can't come up and put stuff all over the roof of the hive. And so that just makes it kind of nice and keeps everything kind of neat and tidy. And the bees are allowed then to operate within this area as they progress, as they make more and more bees, as their brood begins to develop. Then we will open this up and allow them more space. In natural beekeeping, the bees will generally put their brood about in the center. They'll do some honey on this side, they'll do honey on this side. The honey on the outside of the brood chamber, the honey on the outside, is generally honey that they don't need. They will actually put honey on the top of this frame, kind of in a half circle type motion. In the winter time, those bees will congregate here on this part of the frame with the honey here, and as they eat this honey, then they'll use this honey for their, as they eat this honey, I don't know why I said that, but they'll eat this honey as they go through their life in the winter time. That keeps them fed through the winter because they're not going to move. They're mostly going to be here. And you know, that's one thing that I had not realized. I lost a number of Langstroth bees in my Langstroth hives, and I didn't understand what was going on, because whenever I'd come out in the spring and open up the hive, I'd have a whole batch of honeybees that were all congregated here and dead. Every one of them dead. And I thought, what's the problem? They ran out of honey. They didn't have any honey. And they don't generally, in the wintertime, don't generally move from one frame to the next. They create the frame they're going to be on for the winter. They prepare themselves. That's part of natural beekeeping. So what you want to do is get your swarms early in the springtime, so that they will be able to build up enough reserves for the winter, the coming winter months. I'm really excited about the potential of this Layens hive, the horizontal hive. I like the fact that they're not piled on top of each other, because as you well know, if you've done bees, when you get those stacked up, you got to move them all the time. With this, if I want to take the honey out of this hive, all I have to do is look at the end, see if there's honey there. If not, go to the next one. There's where the honey is. We take it out. We leave the brood chamber intact. We don't disturb the bees at all in this area, because they're under here. They don't even know, for the most part, that you're even messing with stuff. You'll have some bees out here, but most of them won't even know you've opened their hive up, because they're all concealed to this one area. That's what I like about this concept, the Layens hives with the frames that block off the rest of it. I'm kind of excited about it. And then whenever this gets full, whenever they get all their honey in here, they've got a big brood chamber, they continue to grow. At that point in time, we will lift our little thingy here without bothering the bees. We will add 2 or 3 frames, whatever it seems like they need, depends on how strong your hive is. Put this back in there and we're ready to go. And that's how we tend our hive. By the way, that is one of the important factors of using the horizontal and using the natural method of beekeeping, because we will only do this in the springtime. We will open our hive, we will see how our bees are doing. We might interrupt them a little bit here and look at and see what they're doing, make sure they've done what they're doing. Since I don't have any bees in here, I won't be able to do that. All I can do is just put bees in it when I catch a swarm. And so, but later on, as the bees progress and you've got a real a progressive hive here, then all you'll do is in the springtime, you open it up, check them out, make sure all of your frames are okay, make sure you've got adequate foundation if that's what you're going to use, or do them foundationless. Make sure everything's okay, close it up, and leave it alone until fall. When fall comes, it's time to open it up again to take the honey, if there's adequate reserves. You check the last couple of frames in the hive, frames. You check those. If there's plenty of honey on them, you can remove those. You haven't disturbed the bees at all. And for the winter time, shut them up and you're good to go. Put the top back on, you're ready to roll. I'm not going to disturb the bees by checking on them, because we know that they've got honey on their individual frames that they are on. They will be there. They'll stay on those frames. They won't move during the winter for the most part. So we know they're there. We don't want to disturb them. We know they'll have adequate. If you want to look, you can look. I mean, that's, of course, you can do whatever you want to do. But, you know, you might want to lift up a couple of their broods and brood frames and see if they're adequate, and some of the others, to make sure that they've got adequate honey there before you remove the honey. But if they've got honey on the outsides, that's the honey that they have overage. They don't need to use that for their winter storage. They've stored up what they're going to need for the winter on their frames right here. And so that's what you're mainly concerned with. Shut them up and leave them alone until spring. Some of the probably one of the easiest ways I've ever heard of beekeeping. And you know, I bought the book, well, I actually bought this hive from Dr. Leo Shorashkin, I think is how you say his name. Shorashkin, it's Russian. He's a natural beekeeper, does seminars. In fact, I'm going to go to one of his seminars March, I think. He's out of Kabul, Missouri, and so I'm hoping to go to that seminar and learn a little bit more. That'll be just in time before the bees start swarming. I can learn what I need to learn. Oh yeah, and I was going to show you guys this too. I bought one of these swarm traps, and it's just a small one. It's got 6 frames in it, and we'll just set that up in a tree somewhere. Probably the end of March, 1st of April, we'll set that up in a tree. They say 12 feet high. I've probably focused in on that tree right over there, and I'll get my ladder and set it up there, and hopefully we'll catch a local swarm. If we catch a local swarm, that tells me that they're strong. They've been through the winter. They know the climate and the environment around here, and they've succeeded through a winter. So hopefully they'll have a good strong queen. I'll put them in here, and there's other things on mixing if you already have a hive in there, and you can mix swarms and stuff. So we'll go through some of that in later videos as we progress. So anyway, just wanted to show you what we've done so far for our horizontal hives. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I do wish if you would please subscribe, and if you've got a comment, in fact, I'd really like to have your comments. Quite frankly, your comments are very valuable to me. I like to have suggestions, anything you might suggest that I might do to make this better. That's what I want. That helps me a great deal. So please feel free to make comments. You know, stay positive, of course, but help me out here, because I've also been kind of wondering what kind of bees that I wanted to put in this hive. I've looked at the European black bee. I'm a little worried about them because they're a little more aggressive. But anyway, I'm going to try to catch local swarms, because that's what Dr. Leo says is the best thing to do. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm hoping we can get some of those. But your comments can help me a great deal. So if you would, just subscribe to our channel and make the comments as you see fit. Help me out here if you would, please. I appreciate you watching, and thank you so much. Hope to see you again on the next video. Bye-bye.